So it's time for the notebook. Let's open the notebook and talk about some UVA football as the Cavaliers get ready for Boston College coming in this weekend. Chris Graham here, Augusta Free Press. So first item in the notebook, the bye week was good for UVA football. Head coach Tony Elliott told reporters on Tuesday that the team got pretty healthy over the break with a couple of key guys back. Offensive lineman Mikhail Boley and Ty Furnish are not just back, but listed atop the depth chart at their respective positions. Boley was the projected starter at left tackle going into the season. He played 847 snaps last year at left tackle, 62.7 Pro Football Focus grade, but he went down late in training camp. I think it was like 2 weeks ago in training camp. He had an ankle injury. Jack Whitmer, I mean, admire the guy. He stepped in admirably, converted tight end, 75.3 PFF grade through 4 games in 254 snaps. Whitmer will be a valuable guy, whether he's at left tackle, if assuming that Boley has trouble because of maybe just conditioning. He's been out for a while. He might be healthy, but maybe just not fully conditioned, so may not be able to go a full 60, 70, 75 snaps, how many ever snaps the offense gets on Saturday. Whitmer will be an important guy there. Maybe Whitmer can fill in on other positions in the line. So the fact that he's playing well is a good thing for this team. Whoever's playing over there is going to have their hands full. Boston College's edge rusher Donovan, oh gosh, Izaraku. I'm not pronouncing that name right, I'm sure. Let's call him Donovan. He has 6 sacks this year and 17 QB pressures in 5 games. That is a lot. I mean, 1.2 sacks a game, 3.4 pressures a game. He's a disruptor, as we like to say in other fields. Um, as Elliott said, both of his guys have to be ready to go. This is what you look forward to as a competitor to play somebody. I think he's one of the best in the country. Talking about Izaraku, maybe I'm getting that better. He has a bunch of sacks. He's very disruptive. He plays on both sides. You can't get away from him. They're going to have to step up and play well. Whitmer and Boley, as far as that goes. Furnish had missed the last game, the win down at Coastal Carolina after going down in the second half of the Maryland loss. Um, his Pro Football Focus grade this season is 60.1. Furnish plays right guard. Ugananana played well on his stead in the Coastal game. Actually had a 76.2 grade in the Coastal game. I did not check his stats from last year game by game, like I probably should have when I wrote my notebook column. But from what I remember, that 76.2 game grade is a career high for Ugananana. So his season grade is 59.8. So both those guys have played well. You'll have both those guys to rotate in and out. And then Charlie Patterson, listed at number 2 at right guard, has not played this year yet, but Patterson is also back from injury suffered during training camp. And so the O-line is pretty much as close to full strength as they've been this season. And that's, it's saying a lot there because this unit has paved the way for UVA to be third in the ACC in rushing. They've kept Anthony Calandria upright by and large this season. And Tony Elliott says that's a testament to Coach Heff, referencing O-line coach Terry Heffernan, and what he's been able to do to kind of piecemeal it together and get it to work. So next item in the notebook, UVA's favored in this matchup. Now I should check real quick and make sure that that's still the case because there is a change in status for one guy. Thomas Castellanos, the starting quarterback for BC, had to miss last week's game for BC, and BC only won that game over Western Kentucky at home by a 26 or 21-20 final. Had to come back from being down 13 in the fourth quarter. Yeah, now I'm seeing that the line has gone from 2.5 to 1. UVA is still favored by 1 in this game as I look at this live. So BC, we know they beat Florida State earlier this year. That's what got BC's cachet up. Now Florida State's 1-4 on the season, so maybe not as strangely not as big a win as we thought. Back when BC beat them, they were still ranked 10th in the country. But this BC team also has a win over Michigan State and a one-score loss at number 9, Missouri. A game they led 14-3, lost 27-21 at Missouri. So, I mean, this team has been battle-tested. And next question was going to be who plays at QB for BC. Castellanos has been practicing this week. Looks like he's a full go. We don't even know what his injury was. BC head coach Bill O'Brien was quiet on that, and but he was a participant in practice on Tuesday. He's practiced since the last couple of days since. The guy who started in his place last week, Florida international transfer Grayson James was a modest 19 of 32 for 168 yards and a touchdown, but he did lead the fourth quarter comeback. So credit to the guy for being able to do that. Last year, BC beat Virginia by a late field goal, 27-24. UVA led that game 21-7 at halftime after completing a Hail Mary pass right before halftime. Led 14-0 early on. But BC in the second half just dominated, outgained UVA 266-39. UVA got just one field goal, a game-tying field goal with about 7 minutes left from Will Bettridge. But BC got the game winner with 2:11 left, a 42-yarder by Liam Connor. And BC has won 7 of 8 from UVA since joining the ACC. Last message here on the notebook, defending the home turf. The message from Tony Elliott to his team, he said this week, is they're coming to take what we want. When I looked at the numbers, Virginia under Elliott is 5-9 at home since he took over in 2022. His quote, "We have not been good in Scott Stadium under this coaching staff, and I want that to change." That's got to change. One thing that I don't have the number in front of me, but in the Bronco Mendenhall era, Virginia was pretty good at home. You gotta defend your home turf. So the game is a 12 o'clock noon kickoff. I'll be there. Scott German will be by my side. I don't know if the press box will be a lot emptier now with all the layoffs, unfortunately, from the Lee Enterprises folks. And there's a lot of talented guys that aren't going to be there this week, and maybe who knows after. But yeah, we'll be there for the noon kickoff, early kickoff, first one of the season. We had the first couple of whole games were night games. Um, and so I'll do a live game coverage item that has been getting decent reads the last few weeks. Of course, we'll have post game coverage as well. So if you for more coverage of the game, I had my notebook column that I used as the basis of this podcast posted on AugustaFreePress.com. You can reference that. Other stories about UVA football, other stories about sports in the world in general. Go to AugustaFreePress.com for that. If you have any questions for me, any news tips, feel free to email me at chris@AugustaFreePress.com.